I am Liam Bailey, and you are watching Elite Sports TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
It is my honor, and in fact my privilege, to have you join us this morning for this very important, what I call, communication opportunity. To some of us, football is a lifestyle, whether we play or watch and analyze, as well as engage in its administration at any level. We, the members of the Real Solid Action RSA team, are bent on seeking to restore our national football programs to their rightful places of dignity. I crave your indulgence as I introduce to you a team that is committed to ensuring that the administration of the beautiful game is in keeping with what it truly deserves. We start at the head table. To my immediate left, Mr. Cardinal Stewart, his little introduction. I'm sure he doesn't mind me referring to him as a veteran administrator, part of the game. Next to him we have Mrs. Pat Garrett. She's a member of the team. And immediately next to her we have, we could refer to him as the man of the moment, our candidate, Mr. Raymond Anderson. Next to our candidate, we have the chairman of all that is involved in preparing for the next elections, Mr. Dave Cameron. Some people call him Wycliffe. And then we have Mr. Wayne Thompson, president of St. Thomas and a fundamental part of the team. In the audience, we also have members of the team, and I'll just call the names and they can just indicate. We have Mr. Mark Bennett out of Casafa. If I say Ricky Chin, should I say from all over the place? And we have counsel. I'll take the liberty of referring to her as KC. Peter Robertson. And then we have Antonio Bell. We have a doctor in the house, Dr. Cook. And of course, I don't know if she's hiding around the back, but we do have Ms. Carol Bedford, who is a fundamental part of the team. And at the back we have, there was a time, some time ago, when somebody said that in Jamaica, Bell, football is spelled B-E-L-L, F-O-O-T-B-E-L-L. That's Mr. Odaji Bell, son of Russell Bell. He stands in his own right, but my name is Ben Zuwitz, a team member. We have serious matters to address with you this morning. Friends, part of the current JFF administration, led by incumbent Michael Ricketts, have taken steps to what we can only describe as pervert the outcome of the pending JFF elections with massive electoral fraud, which could very well disenfranchise long-standing entities in the Jamaica football fraternity. Contrary to the dictates, the principles of FIFA and CONCACAF and the regulations and their stipulations. A constitution adopted in December 2022 under the directive and guidance of the FIFA to increase the voting personnel for leadership in the Jamaica Football Federation from being controlled by just 13 parishes, increasing that to 56 votes spread across what we refer to as 3 pillars. And I'll tell you a little bit about the pillars. Pillar 1 comprises all the football parish associations, and each parish has 2 votes. So we're talking about 26 votes here. Pillar 2 comprises the top 4 clubs in the men's Premier League the top 4 clubs in the Women's Premier League, the top 4 clubs in the men's, what is referred to as Tier 2, and equally the top 4 clubs in the women's Tier 2. We are aware that in the current circumstances, because there has not been any Tier 2 in the women's area, there is a special arrangement as far as voting is concerned there, where the top 4 in Tier 1 will vote on behalf of what should be Tier 2. And we assume that that is a temporary situation until Tier 2 gets going. Pillar 3 comprises referees, their organization, coaches, ISA, Inter-Secondary School Sports Association, the Intercollegiate Association, Beach Soccer, Past Players Association, and the PFJL, which is the Premier Football Jamaica Limited, responsible for the administration of the Premier League. Members of the Federation, as determined based on suggestion from JFF, in consultation with FIFA, under these new voter guidelines, the idea being to ensure that there is a broader base of participation. And our understanding is that FIFA was determined to ensure that we didn't have a situation where the board of the JFF had a greater composition than the voters for the leadership of the Federation. FIFA insisted that the stakeholders electing the board of the JFF, as I said, must be wide. They also determined that the electors must include members of a professional cohort. We have struggled as far as professional football, but we are getting there bit by bit, hence the involvement of the teams from the PFJL. This effort by FIFA has been, to some extent, derailed by board members on the slate of the incumbent Mr. Ricketts, who continued to seek to mislead the Congress of the JFF. The entities selected to be part of this new voting cohort I have listed before. These were the entities listed in the Constitution as members as of December 2022. The effort, therefore, by the incumbent and other members of the current board to form new organizations has to be considered nothing short of subversive. In fact, the FIFA required that the Federation was supposed to ensure that the stakeholders as identified are represented in Congress. Whatever it took to take them to that level, that was critical. Instead, members of the Ricketts slate have sought to form new organizations, thus disenfranchising the organizations initially identified. This egregious plot to consistently misinform the Congress and seek to disenfranchise legitimate stakeholders is our main concern. And so today we have invited you here to get into some details of some of the wrongs that are being attempted. There will be presentations from members of our head table. We will have a presentation from Mr. Stuart Carver, and he will speak to you with regard to coaches and referees and other matters. Mrs. Pat Garrell will speak to you with regard to the matter of beach soccer. And I don't need to get into the details. They will tell their story, and we will leave it to your judgment. And so, that being said, I invite Mr. Carver Stewart to address you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the head table, colleagues from the team, members of the media, good morning. Good morning. some context, after the Box Hill presidency and Captain Burrell retook the presidency, a decision was taken to reduce the number of delegates eligible to elect the JFF presidency from 105 delegates to 13. Just think about that. Importantly then, the parishes would have enjoyed 70 of the delegates directly, and there were some additional delegates that would have been on management committees and so on. But it then included other participants in the football outside of the parish association. So if we didn't regard that change as egregious then, reflect on it now. You were removing the participants in football to reduce them to just the parish association, which would have meant you would be able to be elected continuously forever and ever. And that is what happened, in fact, until unfortunately his demise. So we come to 2020, March, and FIFA comes here in the form of a lawyer. I forget her title now, but it had to do with law and governance. And she initially met with parish association members, which gave us the opportunity to hear again what FIFA was asking for of the JFF. FIFA came here to basically demand that the 13-man thing be disposed of, and you essentially broaden the base of representation in the JFF so that there would be additional members who would be eligible to vote. She produced an initial draft, and no matter what the other people tell you, these are facts, and facts are stubborn. She produced the original draft, came here, and we had a first sight of that draft at Casafa, and we made numerous comments about the draft in order for it to satisfy Jamaican requirements. Mark, if you recall, we never saw anything further from the JFF. No matter, we heard they had referred it back to FIFA, and we made numerous calls. What have you referred to FIFA? Eventually, we got back a document somewhere in 2021, and we noticed that there were a number of changes, but some of the good governance still seemed to have remained. At that time, it wasn't fully, 56 was not fully defined, but it made references to other bodies, the clubs as Benzi pointed out, and the other bodies. Eventually, they fine-tuned it and presented it to Congress on December 2022. And at that time, they named all the members that Benzi just pointed out. Critical to it was that they should have informed all the members as to who those members are from then. Because there was a June 30th deadline by which, in order to have elections much earlier in the year, nothing was done. None of the Pillar 3 members were notified of their membership until a Congress in September of this year. Remember, they had a requirement, as Benzi pointed out, they had to ensure the full representation of the new members who all existed in December 2022. Remember, all 7 that were pointed out existed in December 2022. They were, however, not notified until a Congress in September, on September 2024. So we just wanted to follow all of that. That Congress invited some of the Pillar 3 delegates, and they attended the Congress. only to be later on disenfranchised. But Pat will speak more to hers. And so they had the Congress in September, and they informed the clubs that you're all members, don't need to do nothing more, they satisfy all the requirements. The clubs were informed that the Pillar 2, when I saw you looking up, the Pillar 2 is properly populated because you know who you are, kind of thing, all right? However, Pillar 3 is not yet finalized. Recall, Pillar 3 is included in the Constitution that was approved and accepted on the 22nd of December, 2022. Hence, they were members of the JFF. What was required and outlined from day one by the lady from FIFA is that everybody had to be a registered company with the company's office. We knew that, but Pillar 3 members didn't necessarily know that because they were not informed until September 2024. 2023, sorry. So now here we have a group of 7 people, some of whom were already registered, right? I sent around, Carol, did you distribute the coaches here? They were already registered, some were already registered, and others had to be registered. So now, here they come in September, you have to be registered, people run around to get registered. All right. Some were already registered, however, in a meeting of the board, Mark tells me it was the 1st of November. I thought it was in October. They presented that checklist that I sent. I wanted the media to see the checklist in particular. It's very important evidence. In that checklist, take coaches. They acknowledged that Jamaica Football Coaches Association had submitted their legal documents and their certificate of incorporation. However, they did not select the long-standing Coaches Association. They selected a body that they said had legal status. Look at it now, Jamaica Coaches, not football coaches now, Jamaica Coaches. They said they had legal status and they had a certificate of incorporation. I sent you a letter from the company's office which said clearly that they had neither. But they were selected by that board on a majority count, by the way, because we have board members here, 5, who do not support that kind of behavior. And so they went ahead and said Coaches Association was properly incorporated and was recommended to go to the Congress, the special Congress, that took place later in November, right? They also said, and look again, that beach soccer did not present any documentation. And this was prepared by and presented by Dennis Strong to the board. And look at the X's in the beach soccer column. Beach soccer had before then submitted all its bona fides, right? And yet still, they were said to have not done so, and they presented another body that was recently incorporated, I think somewhere around the 17th, either the 4th of October or the 17th of October. I mix up the dates because I know that coaches were denied registration and beach football was allowed registration later. They went to that course of action because they had canvassed Pillar 3 members by then. And they found, like the rest of Jamaica, no support for a JFF that had failed in all its activities that they were directly involved in. And we have to be honest about that. You look back to all of the foul-up travel arrangements, look back to youth groups not being able to participate in CONCACAF competitions because they fouled up either by traveling or by visas and all of that, coming down the years since they've been in. Importantly, FIFA has had the JFF on restricted financing for 5 years. The impact of that is that Jamaica's football lost $3 million US. That was available for the take to be used in the development and the continuation of Jamaica's football. Right? So when we are running a campaign against them, it is not personal. It is football. And if people don't understand that, if we allow this to continue, how low we think the football is now, it's going to be even lower. I haven't mentioned the women because I think you all know that up to recently as yesterday, they allowed personalities to negatively impact the football. And again, when I say personalities, it includes the lot of misinformation and lies, outright lies, that they have said to the Jamaican population as we have gone along. So not only are they trying to fraudulently win an election, as you said, they clearly intend to continue destroying and reducing the levels and the quality of our football. Remember now, financially, they have mismanaged the federation. JFF sent a consultant here to assist them. Those are FIFA's word. FIFA sent it, right? Yeah, Anand is making the point. FIFA sent it. Despite whatever JFF's mood or views were, FIFA sent him to Jamaica to help and to participate in the preparation of financial matters and reporting. Yeah. Oh, they were brought in, oh yes. Oh, Mark is reminding me that the board, having selected the Coaches Association, took the Coaches Association and beach football to the Congress to have the Congress approve those two as members in order to get the votes for those members. It is important that it be made very clear that, as you can see from the documentation, the coaches did not exist and should not have been recommended. And Pat will speak to the beaches later on, but there's a very important matter to do with the beaches, their beach football. Very important one. That piece of fraud, as Denzel has characterized it, will be clear to you when those documents are presented and shown to you. Again, our main concern is to change the negative direction in which the football is going. And if football is not put first instead of personalities, because look at the slate, if you haven't received it yet, you need to receive the slate that has been put up on the other side and compare it to the slate on this side. And I say it's sharp to cheese in terms of quality. And people should understand that this slate is responding to FIFA's mandate in broadening the participation. And so people have been selected for their competence, for their proven accomplishments over the years, whether or not they were directly involved in football. Because we hear that, oh, them people are not dealing with football. That's not true. Almost all of them have. But certain experts.
Beach soccer worldwide. Under the auspices of FIFA, who regulates and is in charge of everything that beach soccer worldwide does. And so affiliation with that worldwide body and our involvement with them up to 2022 to bring an international tournament to Jamaica was ongoing. But I will come to what we are presently doing. On September 15th, we were invited, Beach Soccer Jamaica, to what would be a congress to ratify the affiliates based on the mandates of the new constitution. Prior to that time, when we were having any kind of beach soccer event, all that was necessary was to send a letter to the JFF and ask them for a sanction letter. That happened from way back when Red Stripe Light was launching the Red Stripe Light, and we brought down the Brazil national soccer team, beach soccer team, and the Argentinian beach soccer team. I think, Wayne, I think you might have remembered that, right? So here we are. So on the 15th, we were invited to a congress at the JFF that will take place on the 24th, on the 15th of September, that will take place on the 24th of September. We were mandated to send 3 observers to the congress. So we did in the form of Andrew Price, who is the director of beach soccer, John Isaacs, who have been involved in beach soccer for more than a decade with us, and Andre Mackenzie, our accountant. The Congress took place. We were duly acknowledged as compliant with the 3 delegates they asked for, and it's minuted in the minutes of the Congress. All right. We were told that we need to be compliant in terms of having a registered company, to which we registered on the 19th, which is before the Congress, the 18th, sorry, right? Okay, then we sent in our membership application as instructed on the 19th of September to the JFF. So we thought that we would have gotten an acknowledgement letter, which we thought would have been the proper process. So on the 19th, on the 22nd, we followed up to say, in speaking to and writing to the General Secretary, we await your ratification of our information. We actually thought we couldn't go to the Congress on the 24th until they would have responded to us. Well, on the Congress took place, and they said, oh, don't worry about it. We needed more, just another supporting document, a short profile of our directors they asked for, and we duly obliged and sent those. We kept calling and we kept writing, so we have a whole host of emails from the General Secretary. And then he sent to say that not relevant to beach soccer, especially in brackets in our email, but they are giving some of the Pillar 3 other people who are not as compliant as we have been time to get their documents in. And he referred to a number of them. I will call the names, but it's some of the 7 of us. On October 13th, we wrote again because we said something is not so right. We said not to worry, but we are giving the other people some more time. And at all material times we were in touch with the General Secretary through our General Secretary also. Right. We sent physical documents to them, and all of the data, and I will just spare me a minute. The initial application was sent on the 19th. Profile of the executives of beach soccer was sent. The declaration of beach soccer was sent. The constitution of Youth Soccer was sent in compliance, and I'm saying that specifically because they said something in the constitution spoke to us having to be compliant under Article 13 and 16. On the 7th of November, we heard in the media that there was a consideration of another beach entity. And so we inquired, and we were told that on October 18th, a Beach Football Association of Jamaica Limited was registered, primary director being Mr. Bruce Gaynor and Mr. Patrick Malcolm. Bruce Gaynor as president of the JFF and Mr. Patrick Malcolm as the parish president of St. Elizabeth. With Mr. Stennett, that they are duly constituted and they have complied with all the things to do. So we got back in touch with Mr. Chung, and we said, but we're not understanding what's going on. He said, well, just send in any other additional information you have as to your qualification. And I said, but what would that be? He said, well, anything that you have from the international body. So we got a letter from the international body, which is inviting both the JFF and the Beach Soccer Jamaica to the World Cup in Dubai in February of next year. So we duly sent that letter. Only to understand through the media again, no written correspondence, that they have decided on Beach Football Association of Jamaica Limited. I have documentary evidence. The media can get as much as they would require from us. I will only say that we are surprised. We are disappointed, but not surprised. The fraudulent behavior of the JFF is documented all over the place. But I hope that based on so much interaction and so much going through, we would not be here today at this juncture. But as I said, disappointed but not surprised that we have been properly disenfranchised. But I am saying here today that having written now to the Electoral Committee an official letter with evidence of everything that we sent to the JFF, I am prepared to go all the way in getting to the position of why we should allow our football at all levels to be decimated by this group of people. So, thank you for listening. And
with 3 pillars. And pillar 1, Parishes Association, the professional arm, pillar 2, and pillar 3, the supporting group. Right? And that will actually help us some more broadening the stakeholdership of football over the country. Now, for us to reach there, we actually have 1 year to get all of the pillars ready for the election for 2023. I know the election will be 2024 because we're ready. But we actually, everything was in check for the election for 2023. Now, because of that, I want to let you know how the decisions have to be taken. You have the board, the Congress. The board approve and make recommendation to the Congress. Based on the approval from the board, we refer to Congress. So they spoke about all of what they have done. And I just take it through one by one. Referees, coaches, and beat soccer. Now the referees, we looked at it from the coaches, sorry, the referees actually, we have Prendergast-led group. When they looked at it, all that required was done by the Prendergast group. And I just want to do it like that to make sure I understand. But when they looked, they saw where there's another group they want to formed by a director. The director invited all the referees that are around the island. And you know what? When they met, the referees clearly, categorically stated, don't get us in this. We were there all along and nobody busy with us. Why are you calling us now to form a paper group? So they leave that alone. As we speak now, only one group is inside the JFF. We would have thought that if there's one group inside the JFF with all the requirements fulfilled, they should mention that group as the group, legitimate group, to represent the referees. Now we still don't hear anything on it, firmly on that. We have several board meetings, we have a Congress, and that group still outstanding. We will show you more evidence why that group should really be the legitimate group for the referees. But when we looked at the coaches, we saw where the VIN group, and again I just went to the VIN group versus the speed group. VIN group is from 2009. All things, again, that is when we sit and plan. The only group in mind was the VIN group. There was no other group. And what the JFF should do from our side is to help those groups to become compliant, walk them through, babysit them through. We didn't do that. We let the time pass and then set them up, we're running around trying to get these groups compliant. I think it was a deliberate act, and I'll tell you why later with that. So we tried. When we discovered that there's a group that tried to really register, because all of the requirements, one of them is to register at the company office, corporate, and that group tried, and that group could not register. So what that group do in their wisdom is saying to us, because when we at the board made that decision, the General Secretary told us that all those boxes of requirement by Jamaica coaches was done, and the Jamaica Coaches Association will have some outstanding boxes. If you looked at it, you'll see some of the outstanding boxes for the VIN group is like playing football, etc. and things. What we know that coaches don't play football. So really and truly, if it was even, they're saying like 5 boxes were not ticked, and all the boxes were ticked on the other side, even the one that we should have not applied. Right? Was because again that was an inside job. We saw where they went ahead, tried to register the company could not register, so that means, and it was ticked. And bring to the board, and based on that, the board made a decision and refer it to Congress with all those boxes ticked. So the decision that Congress made on Coaches Association is not true. It's a lie. It's misrepresentation. And to an extent, you can even say corruption. Because you know that it should not happen, and that's what happened to the coaches. So we are here again with evidence to show you that the beach soccer versus the beach football. Now, Pat already alluded to all of that, but there's other evidence. when we discover that this is what happening, a lot of you might hear on the news that one tenant clearly, categorically, say that is not a part of it, and whosoever brings his name should go to jail. Carmel was a person at the Congress who really bring it to the highlight of the Congress, and they differed for further investigation. When that was done, I would have thought that the JFF would investigate by getting the tape, listen to the tape, and decide if, and make recommendation back to the board again for us to really move it on to Congress. What have happened is that we had a meeting, a board meeting, and it was presented to us that Stennet wrote an email stating that he is a Stennet that said that he wasn't the Stennet at that time. You follow me? No, I don't know how to really understand that, but that is what exactly happened. The Stennet that he said and the videos, the video clippings, he's saying no in an email that is not me. So I asked the General Secretary for some information when he was reading that from his laptop. He said, General Secretary, do you have a copy of the clippings from Stennet? No. He said no. He said, oh, do you have a copy? No, justifying that the Stennet with an email, no, you don't have that one for us to compare. He said he don't have that one, but he read that one from his laptop. Why I mention this, I was mandated by my team to go to the JFF with a team to look at all of Pillar 3 information, which I've done. When I went, I was instructed that only the directors can look at it, which no problem. I went inside because knowing myself with an investigative mind, it wasn't a problem for me. So I went through all the documents from ISA, well, Interpol was not there, all the others were there. And I looked at them in detail, referees, coaches, ISA, players, beat soccer, both beat soccer. And some things came up to me where we looked at signatures, we looked at a lot of things inside it. And we found out that there's a lot of irregularity, especially with beach football. So I asked of the General Secretary again for the clipping, for the video, not on the file. And gentlemen and ladies, these files is what go into the electoral committee. So that means they must be in readiness to go to the electoral committee at this time. When we looked at it, there was no information on what we in the global Earth tenant said that is categorically not a part of that. We also looked, and there was an email that the General Secretary actually read to us at the board meeting to really verify and justify that the beach soccer is really legitimate. So what we do, I asked the General Secretary for that email that he read to us. And ladies and gentlemen, I spent 90 minutes waiting on that email in the office. 90 minutes. And I have evidence again that I spent my time because I didn't want to get so upset because a lot of people said, honestly, you should know better. So I left with a witness. It's both of us were there, so I left there with a witness. So up until now, I still don't see that email. I'm not saying that it's not there, but I don't see the email and I don't see the clippings. But at the same time, the board made a decision to refer, to approve the beach soccer, the beach football, to refer the beach football to Congress. Now we looked at this, and this is evident. The top one is it's a company office, and I wanted to spend time to look at the Senate signature, witnessed by JP Bruce Gaynor, Vice President Bruce Gaynor, and looked at Senate signature here, and you can find several documents with Senate signature here. So this is one of the things we're asking, that they should not investigate before they come to this conclusion to refer this beach football to Congress again. So the documents that we need now is the email, the clippings, and the investigation. And I can tell you, this is already entrenched investigated from the RSA team. So we're just appealing now to the Electoral Committee, FIFA, JFF also again, and CONCACAF to really get this thing right. And the investigation will continue. So, ladies and gentlemen, governance is critical for us to be accountable. Governance is critical to accountability. Football, ladies and gentlemen, is the #1 sport, and I know other sport might think otherwise, but we believe that football is the #1 sport in Jamaica. And I think we owe that to our supporters to really keep it at that. So if we continue down this line, we're going to have problems. We will actually be, history will be very unkind to us if we, as the RSA team, don't lead the changes. So I just appeal, to us to ensure our stakeholders, our business people, our supporters to understand that we're not just here crying out just for foul play. We are here to tell you that we as the RSA team can change the whole landscape, and at the lay of the land, we can change it if you allow us to really be that administration for the next 2024. So, what it would be remiss of me to don't mention about football and the field. Football and the field at this day, I must commend the senior reggae boys for qualifying, they're qualifying for the World Cup. And they are now really a part of they are now part of moving in the panel, not the panel, the Copa America game, sorry. So they have done us well. And we, from the RSA team, really proud of them. It showed us that the hope is that 2026 is high. And we will be supporting them all weekend. But for the ladies that done so well for us, take us through back-to-back World Cup, they are our heroes. We need to find some common ground to really get this thing behind us amicably. We know that the girls that really representing us now have done us also well. We are proud of them, very, very proud of them, because they really deliver on a short notice. But for football, we know that we're going to be running so financially constrained will catch us. Now we have to find a lot of games because we have to qualify. We have to go in qualification, so we'll have to find a lot of friendly games to really get us there while we could. And the Women World Cup as two things: practice and also to win, because we are a team. Our team is a team that really takes us to the round of 16. And again, we are very, very proud of them. So for me, I'm just calling on the leadership to lead. Get this thing behind us. Let us get this thing amicable result. We know that people out there can help us. If they need help, they can call again on this team. They've already helped us some years ago with the reggae scene, reggae boys. So he can help us again with the scene, reggae girls. And if they don't want that, we have other people on our team that can really help us, who are really high profile with human resources. So they can help us here. But saying all of that, the RSA team led by me, this could not happen. So I was asking the leadership at this time, please let us get this result and get back to business with the women football. Thank you.